The Colts doing what I thought the Colts needed to do, but I thought the Colts weren't going to do. They told us they weren't going to do it. It's the old flip-flop by Shane Steichen. Here he is yesterday, head coach of the team, explaining that there has been a change, even though a change wasn't supposed to be coming. Joe Flacco benched. Anthony Richardson, 4th overall pick in the 2023 draft, back in. Here's Steichen explaining the decision.
All right, I'll start off. I want to address, Anthony's situation. I've said the process for a long time. And what I mean by that, it's the attention to detail in everything he does, from the classrooms to the walkthroughs to practice to the weight room, all those little things, right? It's just got to be at a higher standard. And over the last 2 weeks, he's made strides in those areas, big-time strides, becoming a pro's pro. And is he a finished product? No, he's not. And it's my job to help him get there along with the rest of the coaching staff. But he's a hell of a talent. Like I said, we've never lost faith or belief in him and his abilities. And he's shown strides. He really has. And with that being said, he will be our starter again. He's going to start this week. He's going to start the rest of the season. All right, and we're going to go from there. Yeah, I never thought that he would never not play again, you know what I mean? So when I made the decision 2 weeks ago, that was why I made the decision. Hey, Anthony, these are the areas that we need to work on and see growth and improvement, and he's made great strides in those areas. Yeah, I think it's just the little things, the details. When I talk about the details, I mean, it's the constant grind in the meetings with the note-taking. It's the walkthrough, laser focus all the time, just being consistent, right? It's consistent in the process to being the best version of yourself.
Was he showing up late? Was he not in the building enough?
No, like I said, it's all the little details about walkthroughs, meetings, all those things need to pick up to another level. And we're still trying to win every game. That's our goal.
Do you think that Anthony gives you the best chance to win?
Yeah. I think whoever's out there gives us the best chance to win. I'm going to give strength to every player on our football team that whoever's out there is going to give us the best chance to win.
Was Jim involved? Or
yeah. I talked to Chris. I talked to Jim. I talked to everybody, but ultimately it was my decision.
Yeah, look, we've heard that song and dance many times before. It's ultimately my decision, but I tend to make the decisions that are in the interest of my short-term and long-term employment interests. I get the impression from talking to the people who are higher than me on the food chain what I should do if I want to keep getting money from them for my food. It's that simple. And in the aftermath of their latest loss, when they fell to 0-2 with Joe Flacco as the full-time starter, it was a pretty simple analysis as far as I was concerned. You put Joe Flacco on the field when you were 4-4 because the thinking was, let's win some football games. Let's try to get to the playoffs. If you're not going to win with Joe Flacco, then let's get Anthony Richardson the reps he needs to reach his ceiling, because we've seen brilliance in flashes. If we can draw that out of him, and the benching might be part of a broader process to draw it out of him, and they're not going to come out and tell us. They're not going to say, all right, look, hey media, just between us, just us folks talking, this guy needed to be humbled a little bit if he was ever going to grow into the quarterback we need him to be. So, for a variety of reasons, we thought the maturity wasn't where it needed to be. The tapping out during the Texans game, that wasn't really the problem. It was the symptom of the deeper problem. There were a lot of reasons why we thought he needed to take a step back. We thought he needed to be smacked down a little bit, and we thought that would cause him to come back and unlock and unleash a higher level of Anthony Richardson. They're not going to tell it to us that way. They're not going to be that candid. So a lot of coach speak gets woven into those comments from Shane Steichen, but I think we're smart enough to look at this and say, they had a guy who wasn't doing what he needed to do. They had a guy who did something we've never seen a quarterback do, pull himself out of a game. Quarterbacks usually will do anything and everything in their power to stay on the field, including ignoring the clear symptoms of a concussion to stay on the field. They don't want the backup to go in there and play. And he opened the door for the backup to play. And he's lucky that the backup didn't play as well as the Colts thought he would, and they lost both games because now Anthony Richardson back on the field. Here he is from yesterday. After the decision was announced that he will be starting again, Anthony Richardson discussing this development in his young NFL career.
Just show that I'm willing to be a pro. I'm willing to sacrifice anything that I need to do for the team. I feel like these past 2 weeks has definitely opened my eyes and allowed me to have the opportunity to do that and just take a deeper dive and look into myself and see what I'm really, made of. So I'm thankful for these past 2 weeks, and I'm low-key glad they happen. When it comes to being a professional, you feel like you're doing a lot of things right, but, when it comes to sacrifice, there's always more things to sacrifice, like time and stuff like that. So just being a pro and just learning more about that, I'm glad Shane gave me the opportunity to do so. He told me I was going to be the starter, from here on out, but it's up to me to, keep my job. I got to make sure I'm doing the right thing and keep showcasing to Shane that I can be the guy and that I am the guy for this team. So it's not really up to him. I felt like the past couple of weeks was up to me as well. I just got to showcase the work and just keep showing him that I'm willing to be the quarterback for this franchise.
The comment that caught my attention was talking about the sacrifice of time. How much time are you going to put into your professional life? And I think everyone goes through that at some point, and it really is a product of maturity. I mean, when I was in college, I was really stupid. Like, I refused to do anything on the weekends. Friday afternoon to Sunday night, I wasn't doing anything. No matter what I had going on the following week, I'll worry about it then. Present Mike is going to, not to be confused with prison Mike, present Mike is going to be young and have fun and do the things that 18, 19, 20-year-olds do. Sunday night, I'll pay the price by, not having as much time, not as much of an opportunity to do what I need to do to get ready for the week to come. And it was stupid, but I was young, and I wasn't willing to make the sacrifice. I wasn't ready to do it. And the light bulb finally went off for me at some point between 18 and 21, 22. When I was in law school, it was a very businesslike approach. No TV in the building the first year of law school. It was all focus. It was all nose to the grindstone and get it all done. By then, I had matured. And then when you start working, the question is, at night, when you're done, after you put in your whole day at the law office, are you going to keep working at night? Are you going to find things to do at home? I remember I was at a meeting at the firm I was working at, and one of the partners said, if you want to get ahead, basically, you got to take your briefcase home every night. Take some work home every night. Find some time to get something done. And that morphed into, eventually this life where all I ever do is work. So at some point, when do you unlock the attitude that you're not going to be protective of your time? You're going to put in the time necessary. What Anthony Richardson needs to realize, and maybe somebody finally told it to him, or the benching is what got it through to him, you've got to be willing to work as hard as the guys you're competing with because they're all working that hard. As Tom Brady said, if you want to compete with me, you got to sign your life over to the sport. And it can have consequences on your personal life. You have to be willing. If you want to be great, do you want to be great? Do you want to be great? Are you willing to spend all the time necessary to be as good as you can be? Because if you're not spending all the time that you have available, you're not as great as you can be. Period. And we'll see if that commitment is going to flow. And who knows whether or not we'll be privy to it. There'll be rumors, there'll be discussions, there'll be comments, maybe compliments. If it's going well, we'll probably hear it from teammates about how committed he is and how hard he's working. He's the first one to show up. He's the last one to leave. That's what a quarterback does. That's part of what you're paid for. You're paid for your leadership. Yes, you're paid to go out and throw the ball and do great things on the field, but you're paid for preparation. You're paid for leadership. You're paid for what you do to inspire the rest of the guys to show up almost as early as you and to stay almost as late as you. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.